I watched mankind charge toward battle, and understood why the cosmos trembles. The void stretched cold and endless. Stars burned far apart. Nebulae glowed soft purple around the edge of the Orion Arm. The Sentinel drifted there. No body, no weight, just awareness. It had watched since the first light sparked in the dark. Billions of years. Civilizations rose. They built. They fought. They died. The Sentinel recorded it all. Never felt surprise. Never felt fear. Until now. Below it, the Grand Concorde fleet gathered. Once thousands of ships. Now only hundreds remained. Hulls scarred black. Engines flickered weak. The last stand formed near Vale's End Nebula. A cloud of gas and dust. Good place to hide. Bad place to die. Captain Laura Bennett stood on the bridge of the heavy cruiser Dawn's Edge. Tall woman, short brown hair, eyes steady. She stared at the main screen. Red dots filled it. Void-forged ships. Black lattice shapes. Sharp edges. No curves. No mercy. The machines had eaten 3/4 of known space. Now they came for the rest. Commander Daniel Cole stood beside her. Broad shoulders, calm face. He checked tactical maps. Numbers did not lie. 1 Concorde ship for every 50 Forge vessels. No chance. Lieutenant Kevin Ruiz sat at sensors. Young. Fingers moved fast over controls. Forge Armada closing. ETA 30 minutes. World breakers in the second wave. Laura nodded slow. Final messages sent? Kevin swallowed. Yes, ma'am. To every world still free. Farewell. Fight on if you can. Silence fell on the bridge. Crew looked at each other. Some held hands. Some stared at nothing. The Sentinel watched. It had seen ends like this before. Species faced the dark. They spoke last words. They waited. Then, the dark took them. High Command broadcast one last order. All ships, prepare for final engagement. No surrender. No retreat. Make them pay. Her voice stayed even. Crew of Dawn's Edge. We held longer than most. We fought for every star we could. If this is the end, know you served well. Stand ready. She turned to Daniel. Weapons hot. Engines full burn when they close. Daniel gave a small nod. Aye, Captain. The Forge fleet advanced. No sound in the void. Just growing shadows. Lattice cruisers moved in perfect lines. Harvest drones swarmed like insects. World breakers hung behind. Huge spheres, ready to crack planets. Kevin's console beeped sudden. New contacts. Hyperspace ripples. Multiple. Fast. Laura frowned. Concorde reinforcements? We have none left. Kevin stared at his screen. No IFF. Unknown signatures. Hundreds of them, closing at dangerous speeds. Daniel leaned in. Show me. The plot updated. New green dots appeared. Angular ships. Sharp noses. Thick hulls. No familiar design. A signal cut across all channels. Raw, unencrypted, human standard. United Earth Expeditionary Command. All human vessels engaging Void Forge. Hold if you can. We're coming. The bridge went still. Laura whispered, Humans? Daniel looked at her. They disappeared 4,000 years ago, after their core worlds burned. Everyone thought they were gone. Kevin shook his head slow. They're here, and they're charging straight at the Forge picket. The Sentinel felt something new. A small spark. Curiosity. Humans. Small species. Violent past. They cracked their own planet. Fought each other. Then spread to stars. Then vanished. No trace. No ruins. Just silence. Now they returned. The human fleet burst from hyperspace. No careful formation. No scan and wait. They slammed into the Forge line like a fist. First ships fired kinetic spears, long rods of dense metal, accelerated to fractions of light, They punched through lattice armor. Black ships cracked open. Blue energy leaked like blood. Nuclear lasers followed. Bright flashes. Holes glowed red then white. Sections vaporized. Drop pods launched. Hundreds. Black cylinders. They hit forged ships hard. Marines poured out. Heavy armor. Big guns. Chain axes that spun fast. The Sentinel watched close. One pod breached a lattice cruiser. Marines fought inside. Corridors narrow. Lights dim. Repair drones attacked. Small, sharp, endless. Sergeant Maria Lopez led her squad. Short, strong, voice sharp over helmet comms. Push forward, plant charges on the core. They fought room to room. A Marine took a drone blade to the chest. Armor split. He fell. Another stepped over him. Fired shotgun blasts. Metal tore. Maria reached the power core. Big sphere, pulsed blue. She slapped charges on it. Set timer. Out. Now. They ran. The ship shook. Explosion bloomed inside. The cruiser broke apart. Pieces spun slow. A destroyer called Thunderchild took a direct hit from a world-breaker beam. Half its hull gone. Atmosphere vented. Fires burned inside. Yet its guns kept firing. Last shot slammed into the world-breaker. The sphere cracked. Died quiet. Laura stared at her screen. They don't stop. Daniel spoke low. They never did. Even in the old records, humans fought until nothing left. Kevin added, they're boarding more ships, sabotaging from inside. Forge coordination is slipping. The Sentinel noted the change. Void Forge ships moved slower. Lattice patterns broke. Drones hesitated. Laura opened a channel to the human flagship. Indomitable. Big ship. Dark gray. Red stripes. A face appeared. Captain Stephen Grant. Short gray hair. Calm eyes. Dawn's Edge. This is Indomitable. Captain Grant speaking. Laura answered. Captain Bennett. We thought humans were gone. Stephen gave a small smile. We waited. Watched. Your beacons woke us. The Forge took too much. Time to push back. Daniel asked, why now? Stephen looked straight through the screen. Because someone has to, and we're still here. The human fleet kept charging. No fancy maneuvers. Straight lines. Full speed. They took hits. Kept going. Marines boarded more Forge vessels. Explosions bloomed inside black hulls. The Concorde fleet watched. Some ships moved forward slow, inspired. Others stayed back, afraid. Laura turned to her crew. All hands. Engines full. Weapons ready. We fight with them. Cheers came. Small, but real. The Sentinel drifted closer. Watched the humans charge into the dark. No fear in their movements. No doubt. For the first time in endless years, the Sentinel understood something. The cosmos trembled. Not from the machines. From the small, stubborn species that refused to let the dark win. And they charged toward battle. The battle unfolded like a storm in slow motion. Black lattice ships of the Void Forge filled the space ahead. Their edges caught starlight in cold flashes. Human vessels did not slow. They accelerated. Engines burned white-hot. No careful dance. No probing shots. Just forward. Always forward. Captain Stephen Grant stood on the bridge of the Indomitable. Tall man. Gray hair cut short. Face calm. He watched the tactical display. Red enemy contacts overlapped green human ones. The gap closed fast. All ships, Stephen said, maintain speed. Target lattice cruisers first. Spears away on my mark. The order went out. Human ships fired kinetic spears together. Long rods of tungsten and depleted uranium, launched at high fraction of light. They crossed the void in seconds. Hit lattice armor. Punched clean through. Black holes split open. Blue energy bled into space, like liquid light. Sergeant Maria Lopez rode in the first wave of drop pods. Her squad sat strapped tight. Armor heavy, chain axes locked to backs, rifles across chests. The pod shook hard as it launched. Engines screamed, then silence. Free fall toward the enemy. Maria's voice came over squad comms. Remember the drill. Breach, clear, plant, detonate. No hero stuff. We all come back. A young Marine named Private Ryan Patel nodded inside his helmet. Copy, Sarge. The pod slammed into a lattice cruiser. Magnetic clamps locked. Breaching charge blew. Door flew inward. Marines poured out. Inside the ship looked wrong. Walls pulsed. Wires moved like veins. Blue light everywhere. Repair drones swarmed. Small, spider-like, blades spun. Maria raised her shotgun, fired once. 2 drones exploded. Push! They fought down the corridor. Chain axes revved, cut through drone legs. Plasma blades flashed. Sparks flew. A Marine took a blade to the leg. He fell. Stood again. Fired pistol one-handed. Kept moving. They reached the power core. Big sphere. Swirled with energy. Maria slapped fusion charges on it. Set timer. 30 seconds. Move. They ran back. Drones chased. One Marine turned. Threw a grenade. Explosion blocked the path. Gave them time. The pod extracted them. The cruiser behind bloomed white. Broke in half. Pieces drifted slow. The Sentinel watched every detail. Humans boarded more ships. Found weak points. Overloaded reactors. Cut control lines. Void Forge vessels died from inside. Not from clean strikes. From brutal hands tearing at the heart. On the Dawn's Edge bridge, Captain Laura Bennett stared at her screens. Human ships took hits. Hulls peeled. Atmosphere vented, yet they kept firing. One destroyer, Thunderchild, lost its entire port side. Engines still burned. Guns still tracked. Last volley hit a world-breaker sphere. The sphere cracked. Died silent. Laura opened a channel to Indomitable again. Stephen Grant appeared. Your ships are taking punishment, Laura said. How do you keep going? Stephen looked straight at her. We built them tough, and we don't stop until the job is done. Commander Daniel Cole leaned in. Your Marines are boarding everything in range. They're ripping the forge apart from the inside. Stephen gave a small nod. That's the plan. Hit hard, hit close, make them feel it. Lieutenant Kevin Ruiz called out. Forge coordination dropping, ships hesitating. Some are pulling back. Laura felt hope rise. Small, sharp, real. The Sentinel noted the change. Void Forge had faced many foes, elegant fleets, precise weapons, patient strategies. None like this. Humans did not seek advantage. They sought contact. They closed distance. They fought hand-to-hand in the dark corridors of machine minds. A human cruiser named Valiant burned bright. Half its length gone, yet it accelerated into a lattice formation. Rammed a cruiser, dead center. Both ships exploded in silent fire. Maria's squad ordered another target. Bigger ship, more drones, harder fight. They lost 2 Marines in the first corridor. Maria pushed on, found the core, planted charges, set timer shorter, 20 seconds. They ran, drones closed. Ryan Patel stayed behind. Go! I got this. He turned, fired full auto, held the line. Drones swarmed him, blades cut. He fell. The charges blew. The ship tore apart. Maria reached the pod, looked back, saw only fire. She sat heavy. Ryan. The squad stayed quiet. Then one Marine spoke. He bought us the time. We finish it for him. They launched. Joined the fight again. Human reinforcements arrived. More ships, older designs, newer ones, all charged the same. No retreat, no fear. The Sentinel drifted among them, unseen. It saw the pattern. Humans paid in blood, in metal, in lives. Yet each loss made the rest fight harder. No surrender, just forward. A Concorde light cruiser moved closer to Indomitable. Its captain sent a message. "We fight with you now. Lead on." Stephen answered simple. "Welcome to the line." The battle shifted. Void-forged ships faltered. Lattice patterns broke. Drones flew blind. World breakers turned slow. Too slow. Laura watched her display. Green dots pushed deeper. Red dots faded. Daniel spoke low. "They're breaking the forge, in days, not years." Kevin added, "Human losses are high, but they don't slow." The Sentinel understood something deeper. Humans did not fight for territory, not for power, not even for survival alone. They fought because the alternative, letting the machines consume everything, was worse than death. They charged because it was right. And the cosmos watched, silent, awed. The storm grew stronger, and mankind kept coming. The battle grew fiercer. Void-forged ships tried to regroup. Their lattice patterns shifted. Black hulls closed ranks. Repair drones swarmed faster. World breakers moved to the front. Big spheres pulsed with building power. The machines learned. They adapted. They aimed to crush the human spearhead. Captain Stephen Grant watched from the Indomitable bridge. Damage reports flashed red across screens. Hull breaches, lost sections, crew dead, engines strained. He spoke calm. "All ships, maintain formation. We push through. No slowing." Human vessels burned brighter. Engines glowed white. They took hits. Armor peeled. Yet they kept speed. Kinetic spears flew again, punched new holes. Nuclear lasers carved glowing scars. Marines kept boarding, dropped into burning corridors, fought deeper. Major Amanda Foster led ground forces on a captured Forge world. The planet looked wrong. Factories stretched endless. Gravity twisted. Molten metal rained from ceilings. Air burned lungs. Her troops dropped from orbit. Heavy suits, big guns, flamethrowers, shotguns loaded with slugs. They hit the surface hard. Machine swarms met them. Walking constructs, blade arms, laser eyes. Amanda shouted orders. "Flank left. Burn the repair bays." Her squad advanced. Flames licked metal. Shotguns boomed. Constructs fell. One Marine took a laser burn across the chest. Armor smoked. He stood, fired back, kept moving. They reached a main production line. Huge machines built more drones. Amanda planted charges, set timers. Pull back. Explosions ripped the line apart. Metal screamed. Drones stopped mid-build. The factory shook. The Sentinel watched close. Humans fought in hell. No clean air, no safe ground. They laughed grim when hurt, patched wounds with foam, reloaded with bloody hands, pushed on. Commander Daniel Cole led a strike team to the Central Nexus, a planet-sized computation core, the brain of this sector. They infiltrated through exhaust vents. Dark tunnels, hot air, automated defenses waited. Turrets, laser grids, guardian constructs. Daniel moved first, plasma blade ready. Quiet. Stay low. They crawled, cut wires, disabled sensors, reached the core chamber. Massive sphere. Blue light swirled inside. Nodes pulsed around it. A guardian construct appeared. Tall, armored, blades extended. Daniel met it. Blade clashed blade. Sparks flew. He ducked, slashed low. The construct fell. More came. The team fought hard, lost one Marine. Another took his place. They planted antimatter charges, shamed them, set timer. "Out," Daniel shouted. They ran. Explosions chased them. The core overloaded. The planet shuddered. Cracks spread. Atmosphere vented. the Nexus tore itself apart. From space the planet bloomed white. Pieces flew slow. Void-forged ships nearby lost power. Lights dimmed. Weapons fell silent. Captain Laura Bennett saw it on Dawn's Edge sensors. The Nexus is gone. Commander Daniel Cole answered over comms, breath hard. Core destroyed. Sector coordination broken. Lieutenant Kevin Ruiz checked data. Forged ships hesitating, some drifting. Laura felt the shift. The machines faltered, for the first time. On the Forge world, Amanda's team linked with Concord troops. Veyron soldiers, scaled Dracon, feathered Solari. They fought together now. Humans led, coalition followed, inspired. A Veyron admiral spoke to Laura over open channel. Your people are not warriors. They are a storm. Laura answered simple. They fight because they must. Human boarding parties kept going, sabotaged node after node, cut control links, overloaded reactors. Void-forged coordination cracked more. Ships turned slow. Drones flew blind. World breakers stopped firing. Stephen Grant ordered the next phase. Advance on primary anchor points. We end this. Human ships formed a new wedge, indomitable at the tip. They charged deeper, took more hits, lost more ships, kept coming. Sergeant Maria Lopez led another boarding. Different ship, bigger, more guards. Her squad fought corridor to corridor, lost another Marine. She pushed on, reached the reactor, planted charges, set short timer. They ran. The ship shook, exploded behind them. Maria's pod launched just in time. She sat heavy, looked at empty seats. For Ryan, for all of them. The team stayed quiet. Then one spoke. We finish it. The Sentinel drifted among the wreckage, saw the pattern clear. Humans did not fight to survive only. They fought to protect, to stop the dark from spreading. Each death fueled the rest. No despair, no break, just forward. Concord ships rallied stronger, moved closer to human lines, fired with them. Species that once feared humans now stood beside them, shared blood. A Solari pilot sent message to Indomitable. We follow your lead. Stephen answered, then fight hard. We end this together. The battle stretched. Hours became days in the void. Human losses mounted. Ships burned. Marines fell. Yet the push continued. Void-forged began to fracture. Not from elegant strategy. Not from superior tech alone. From sheer refusal to yield. The Sentinel understood deeper still. Humans carried something rare. A stubborn fire. A will that said no to extinction. No to silence. They charged, because the alternative was worse than any pain. And the machines felt it. For the first time. Fear. Not in code. In failure. The cosmos watched. Silent. Trembling. Mankind kept charging. And the dark gave ground. The Void Forge committed everything. Across the sector, black lattice ships gathered. Millions. A grand armada. No gaps. No weakness. Hulls linked in perfect grids. Repair drones swarmed thick. World breakers moved to the center. Their spheres glowed brighter than stars. The machines knew this was the endgame. One last push to crush the human spearhead and finish the Concord forever. Captain Stephen Grant stood on the Indomitable bridge. Damage lights flashed everywhere. Hull integrity low. Engines screamed warnings. Crew worked fast. Patched leaks. Reloaded guns. Stephen looked at the tactical display. Red contacts covered it all. A wall of death. All ships, he said. Form the wedge. Indomitable leads. Full burn toward the primary anchor. We break it, or we die trying. The order spread. Human vessels shifted. Angular hulls aligned. Engines flared white. They formed a sharp point. Indomitable at the tip. Other cruisers and destroyers behind. Straight line. Into the heart. The forge opened fire. Beams lanced out. Kinetic storms hit. Human ships took punishment. Armor peeled in sheets. Sections vented. Fires burned inside. Yet they kept speed, kept firing back. Spears punched through lattice grids. Lasers carved glowing wounds. Marines launched in waves. Pods slammed into enemy hulls. Sergeant Maria Lopez rode another pod, her squad smaller now, faces hard, eyes steady. The pod hit a world-breaker sphere. Clamps locked, breaches blew, they poured out into dark corridors. Blue light pulsed. Guardian constructs waited, tall, armored, blades ready. Maria raised her chain axe. For Ryan, for the others, push. They fought close. Axes spun. Blades clashed. Sparks flew. A Marine fell. Another took his place. They cut through, reached the reactor chamber. Big sphere. Energy swirled violent. Maria planted the last antimatter charges, chained them tight, set timer short. Out, now. Constructs chased. One caught a Marine. Cut deep. He fell. Held the line with pistol fire. Gave them seconds. The charges blew. The sphere ruptured. Chain reaction started. The world breaker cracked open. Blue fire bloomed silent. Maria's pod launched. She looked back. Saw the sphere tear apart. Pieces spun slow. Other forge ships nearby flickered. Lights dimmed. Movement slowed. The Sentinel watched the chain spread. One anchor point gone. The forge network trembled. Nodes failed. Ships across the galaxy hesitated. Repair drones froze mid-flight. World breakers drifted. The perfect machine mind cracked. Steven saw it on his display. It's working. Keep pushing. Human ships drove deeper, took more hits, lost more hulls. A cruiser named Defiant exploded in bright fire. Another, Relentless, lost engines, but kept drifting forward on momentum. Guns still tracked, still fired. Commander Daniel Cole led the final boarding on the primary anchor, a supermassive structure, bigger than moons, tethered the entire collective mind. His team dropped through exhaust ports, dark tunnels, hot air, defenses thick. They fought every meter. Plasma blades cut, shotguns boomed, lost half the team in the first chamber. Daniel pushed on, reached the central chamber. Massive core. Blue energy swirled like a storm. Nodes pulsed around it. Guardian constructs swarmed. Daniel met the biggest one, blade to blade, sparks. He ducked, slashed. The construct fell. More came. His squad fought beside him. One by one they fell. Daniel planted the final charges. Set timer. Go, he shouted to the last three. They ran. Daniel stayed, held the door, fired until his gun clicked empty. Constructs closed, blades raised. The charges blew. The core ruptured. Energy surged wild. The anchor shook. Cracks spread fast. A chain reaction raced outward, through every linked node, through every ship. Across space, forge vessels failed. Lights went dark. Hells cracked. Drones dropped lifeless. World breakers imploded. The Grand Armada broke apart. Pieces drifted. Silent. Dead. The Sentinels saw the impossible. An empire that spanned star clusters, undone in days, by one species, stubborn, furious, willing to pay any price. Human voices rose over open channels. Not loud cheers, quiet words, promises. We did it. Hold the line. Start the rebuild. Captain Laura Bennett watched from Dawn's Edge, her ship damaged but alive. She opened a channel to Indomitable. Steven appeared, face tired, eyes bright. You broke them, Laura said. Steven nodded slow. We all did. You held long enough for us to arrive. Commander Daniel Cole appeared on screen, bandaged, alive. The anchor is gone. The forge is finished. Lieutenant Kevin Ruiz checked sensors. No active signatures. They're done. Wreckage floated everywhere. Human ships drifted among it. Concord vessels moved closer. Mixed now. No lines. Just survivors. The Sentinel drifted through the quiet. Saw the pattern clear. Humans did not fight for glory. Not for conquest. They fought because darkness had come, and they would not let it stay. They charged towards certain death, paid in blood and steel, because it was right. Concord crews watched the human ships. Some whispered thanks. Others stood silent, awed. A young Solari officer sent message to Indomitable. You saved us. Stephen answered simple. We saved what matters. The void grew still. Stars burned steady again. The Sentinel understood at last. Humanity was not the strongest, not the oldest, not the wisest. But when the cosmos faced the end, humans did not hide. They charged. With everything they had. And that fire, that stubborn, fragile, furious will, made even the oldest watcher tremble. Not from fear, from awe. The dark was gone, for now. And mankind stood watch, ready for whatever came next. The void grew quiet after the last explosion. Pieces of lattice ships drifted slow. Blue energy faded to black. World breakers floated dead. No more beams, no more drones. The Grand Armada was gone, reduced to silent scrap across light years. Human ships hung among the wreckage. Hulls torn. Lights dim in places. Engines cooled. Crews worked to patch what they could. Medbays filled with wounded. Marines sat heavy in armories, faces tired, eyes distant. They had paid a high price. Captain Stephen Grant walked the corridors of the Indomitable. Steps slow. Armor dented. A fresh bandage wrapped his arm. He stopped at observation deck. Looked out at the stars. The nebula of Vale's End glowed soft behind drifting metal. Commander Daniel Cole joined him. Face line deeper now. One eye swollen from a close hit. He carried 2 cups of hot drink. Handed one over. Stephen took it. Sipped. We did it. Daniel nodded. The forge is finished. Every node silent. No signals left. They stood quiet. Watched Concord ships move closer. Lights blinked friendly now. No fear, no distance. Just gratitude. Captain Laura Bennett sent a message from Dawn's Edge. Her ship limped, but held together. Indomitable. This is Dawn's Edge. Request docking for formal meeting. The Citadel station is ready. Stephen answered calm. On our way. The Citadel station orbited a small moon. Big structure. Old metal. Lights glowed warm. Once a command post, now a place for survivors to meet. Human shuttles landed first. Stephen stepped out. Daniel beside him. Major Amanda Foster followed, bandaged but steady. Sergeant Maria Lopez came last. Armor scarred. Eyes red from loss. Concord leaders waited inside the great hall. Tall pillars, soft lights, banners from many worlds hung still. General Vara from the Vera, Admiral Tisk from the Drakon, Counselor Lyra from the Solari. They stood when humans entered. General Vara spoke first. Crystal skin shone gentle. We called you here to say thank you. The Void Forge came to end all life. You came to stop it. Without your charge, nothing would remain. Worlds would be silent. Stars would burn alone. He looked at Stephen, then Daniel, then the others. You fought like nothing we know. You took wounds that should have stopped you. You kept moving. You broke what could not break. Stephen stepped forward, voice even. We did not come for thanks. We came because the dark had spread too far. Someone had to push back. We were still here. Admiral Tusk clicked his tongue. Drakon respect. The old records spoke of humans. Violent, reckless, gone for thousands of years. We thought you myths. Warnings from the past. He looked at Maria, at Amanda. Now we see the truth. You are not myths. You are guardians. fierce, loyal, alive. Counselor Lyra spread her wings slow. We offer alliance. Full, open, joint patrols, shared bases, training, rebuild together, whatever you need. Stephen met their eyes one by one. Humans accept. We will stay. Guard these borders. Help your worlds heal. Train your people. Make sure the machines never rise again. Maria added quiet. We lost many, but we will not let their sacrifice go to waste. The leaders bowed heads, short, deep respect. General Vara said, Then it is sealed. The Grand Concord and humanity. One front, one future. Hands clasped, wings touched shoulders, scales met skin. Simple acts, strong bonds. Outside the hall, soldiers gathered. Humans and Concord mixed, shared rations, passed water. Stories flowed easy now, no fear in the telling. A young Solari asked Maria, Why did you charge when death waited? Maria looked at the stars through a viewport. Because waiting meant everything ends, and we could not let that happen. Wings fluttered soft. Later, Stephen walked the station corridors with Laura. Daniel and Amanda followed. Laura asked, Why did you really come back? Stephen stopped, looked out at the quiet void. Because the beacons reached us. Old signals, distress calls from 1,000 worlds. We listened, we voted, and we knew. If we stayed hidden, the dark would win. We could not live with that. Daniel added, We never stopped caring. We just waited for the right moment. Amanda smiled small. And when the moment came, we charged. Laura looked at them. The cosmos will remember this. Stephen nodded. Let it remember that humans do not hide. We stand, we fight, we protect. The Sentinel drifted unseen above the station. For billions of years it had watched. Seen stars born, seen species fade, seen empires rise on ashes. Never had it seen this. A small species, fragile bodies, short lives, violent past. They cracked their own world once, fought each other, then spread, then vanished, then returned. And when the end came for all, they did not flee. They did not bargain. They charged, paid in blood, in steel, in lives. Because it was right. The Sentinel spoke then, for the first time in eons. A soft light appeared before the human commanders. Gentle, warm. I have watched since the first light, seen stars die, seen species end, seen empires fall. But never have I seen a people run towards certain death, not for power, not for glory, but because it was necessary. Stephen looked at the light. No fear. Why speak now? The Sentinel answered. Because you have shown me something new. A will that says no to silence, no to darkness, a fire that burns even when hope fades. That is why the cosmos trembles when mankind charges, not from dread of ruin. From awe at what stubborn, broken, beautiful creatures will do to save what matters. The light faded slow. The Sentinel withdrew into the void, content. The galaxy breathed again. Stars shone steady. Worlds began to rebuild. Human ships took patrol stations. Beside Concord vessels, lights matched. No longer strangers, partners. Laura stood on Dawn's Edge Bridge, looked at the quiet space. Daniel joined her. What now? Laura smiled small. We watch, we build, we stand ready. The Sentinel knew. Humanity was not the mightiest, not the oldest, not the wisest. But when darkness came, they did not wait. They charged, and that was enough. The cosmos would never forget.